the quote is that Taylor is hesitant to invite Blake Lively to her wedding.
I don't see any reason for Taylor Swift to defend Blake Lively at this point.
I think the only stressful weddings are the ones where you have a small amount and people are on the bubble. And you have to evaluate or assess your relationship with them.
Yeah.
To see if they should be there.
The biggest celebrity friendship of the last decade is officially over. Taylor Swift and Blake Lively's bond is hitting a new low. Taylor is getting married to Travis Kelce, but there has been a shocking update on the guest list. According to media reports, she has decided to not invite Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to her wedding, which is possibly the best decision to protect her peace.
The Gossip Girl alum may not get an invite to her once close friend Taylor Swift's upcoming wedding to Travis Kelce, according to a new report.
We all know the trial for Blake and Justin is starting on May 18th. A month later would be June 13th. So this wedding date would happen during what people assume will be the Blake Lively Ryan Reynolds trial. The fact that she's going to set and potentially have a wedding during that period, pretty telling.
Blake and Justin Baldoni's ongoing feud has a big role in Taylor snubbing her so-called best friend. I mean, she might have ignored everything, but her friend has already involved her in this mess by exposing the text messages that they both exchanged. The judge has set the official trial date for this massive Hollywood clash to May 18th. If you think about it, that date is a few weeks before Taylor and Travis's planned summer wedding. The risk of being called to the witness stand right before her marriage is something that she will never take.
You would think with such a big deal happening for Blake and Ryan, why throw a big wedding that same time? They definitely can't come. It also sets the tone because she's gonna be able to say, look, I can't be deposed. I got a wedding. I'm prepping for a wedding. I have a million things I can't replan. She's going to clearly try to use that to get out of any depositions.
The last thing Taylor Swift wants hanging over her perfect wedding month is her supposed best friend fighting $1 million trial in a courtroom. But even that terrible timing wasn't the final straw. The unforgivable act was what the court found in Blake's phone. She made a friendship-ending mistake by allowing her private text messages with Taylor to become public evidence.
Blake Lively sued him. If she hadn't sued him, she wouldn't be subject to discovery.
Taylor had been pulled into this lawsuit just because of Blake's actions. I feel like her being mentioned, and then all those text messages where she is talking about Justin Baldoni, was an attempt to comfort her friend, which is now being used as evidence and making Taylor Swift feel more betrayed.
Blake used Taylor like crazy. It's shocking to me how many more people are still trying to side with Blake in this and not Taylor.
When Taylor and Travis got engaged, fans thought they were going to see hundreds of A-listers in their wedding. But that idea got completely tossed out the window. They decided to pull back and scale the entire thing down to a super exclusive private party of about 150 people. This change in approach is the key to understanding everything. When you have a small guest list, you cut down on the chances of a secret slipping out to the hungry press. Taylor knows every extra person is another possible leak, and her 150-person list is a stamp of approval that says, I trust you with my most private day. That's why Blake Lively's empty inbox makes sense. Taylor is basically filling out the list without attracting unwanted attention.
Taylor Swift has completely moved on from Blake Lively, but poor Blake Lively just can't accept that truth. You know why? She keeps calling Taylor, she keeps texting Taylor, she's trying to call again, and Taylor's like, get the hint, girl.
To understand why this canceled invitation is such a huge deal, I think we have to look at it through the lens of Taylor Swift's actual life. She's not just a person. She's a billion-dollar entity whose every single word is tracked by millions of her fans. For someone at her level of fame, true privacy is the most valuable currency in the world. When Taylor forms a friendship, like the one with Blake Lively, she is handing over a piece of her personal life. They both had shared private dinners, family moments, and unguarded text messages. The DMs that got leaked are what any friend sends to support another one who's complaining about a bad situation. But because Blake decided to launch a legal war against Justin Baldoni over creative control of a movie, those texts suddenly became official exhibits in a federal court. Justin Baldoni's lawyers used Taylor's name to build their defense, even claiming Blake used Taylor to get her support.
Are you able to say whether you believe or have reason to allege that Blake Lively threatened Taylor Swift if she did not come out and speak on Blake's behalf?
Taylor's attempt to comfort a friend was being analyzed by judges, lawyers, and the global media. A source said, and I quote, "Having her texts out there made her feel exposed, and kinda like something private suddenly wasn't hers anymore." Well, this could be the worst nightmare for a global superstar, and it's where the emotional gap between these two women was born. Taylor realized that Blake simply lacked the basic qualities required to protect her friends. Her intense desire to win her fight was much stronger than her desire to keep Taylor's name out of the mud.
I can't help but see this as shade and clear distance, setting between her, Travis, and Ryan and Blake.
Now, look at her fiancé, Travis Kelce. He has spent his entire time with Taylor acting as a human shield against bad energy. He rented private villas to keep their vacations hidden and is now supporting a private wedding to protect her peace. Travis represents safety. On the other hand, Blake represents a massive security breach, which we all saw after the judges dropped that massive pile of evidence.
Newly released court documents revealing never-before-seen messages, this time including personal texts between Lively and, get this, mega star friend Taylor Swift.
Taylor had been legally subpoenaed just because of Blake's desperate legal actions. I feel like that moment changed everything, because she realized her private life was being used against her.
First of all, we have a text that Taylor Swift allegedly wrote to Blake Lively, and in it she says, "I think this B knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin." This is in reference to Justin Baldoni.
But still, the worst thing that happened was when Justin's lawyers claimed that Blake asked Taylor to delete their conversation and threatened her to support her publicly. The text even showed Blake apologizing to Taylor Swift for acting differently, and Taylor admitting the whole thing was making her feel very uncomfortable.
Blake Lively tried to blackmail Taylor Swift for not supporting her in public. She said, "I will release text messages from the last 10 years if you don't support me in public." She also asked her to delete text messages between the two of them. Probably that had something to do with "It Ends With Us" and Justin Baldoni.
When these conversations were leaked, Taylor was not ready for it. Media reports revealed she felt upset, and her fiancé, Travis Kelce, was also stressed out that Taylor might be called to a witness stand to testify under oath right around the time of their wedding. I can tell you right now, that was the breaking point as Taylor Swift realized that for Blake Lively, their 9-year friendship was just a tool to be used for gaining fans' support.
There was then reports coming out that Blake Lively had allegedly tried to pressure Taylor Swift into taking a side. Insiders claimed that Taylor Swift felt used and exploited by Blake Lively, and that she allegedly felt that Blake was trying to use Swift's fame to try and get more support for her case.
Taylor has always used her music to talk about her real-life drama, and interestingly, her fallout with Blake Lively is no exception. Her feelings towards her ex-bestie is actually written into her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, and in this song, titled Cancelled.
Taylor Swift's song Cancelled is absolutely about Blake Lively, and I noticed an extra little part in the lyrics that really confirms this.
When the song first dropped in late 2025, a lot of people thought Taylor Swift was writing a loyal defense of Blake Lively. They heard lyrics like, "Good thing I like my friends canceled. I like them cloaked in scandal," and thought she was standing up for Blake. But the true meaning of the song changed just a few months later. When the court documents unsealed the tiny violin texts, fans realized Taylor had literally put her exact message right into the song's pre-chorus as she sang, "Bring a tiny violin to a knife fight? Baby, that all ends tonight."
It's been noticed by a lot of people that when Taylor had said, "I think this B knows what's coming because he's gotten his tiny violin." Well, it isn't just the part in this song where she says, "or bring a tiny violin to a knife fight." Taylor is notorious for putting in little Easter eggs in everything, including her writing.
The lyrics also mirror the lawsuit drama, as Taylor sings, "Did you girl boss too close to the sun? Did they catch you having far too much fun?" This line is a direct quote from Candace Owens, who had criticized Blake's behavior during the promotion of It Ends With Us movie.
But I will say this story is going to be remembered as girl boss flew too close to the sun.
Taylor took those exact words and built a hit song around it. Even Candace Owens reacted publicly, saying she was surprised Taylor used her exact words to shade her best friend. While many people believed that the song was just a regular one, the lyrics paint a picture of a person who brings others in their own trouble. The song is a warning to listeners to beware of people who will gaslight you and frame you in a scandal. It describes a toxic friend who will cause problems in your life and use fake connections just to get popular. Knowing what we know now about the court case and the recent claims, I personally believe that in this song, song, Taylor Swift is publicly dealing with the fact that Blake Lively dragged her into a massive public disaster. The song screams that it is a good thing this friendship is canceled because the other person's behavior is simply too much to handle.
To be honest, I am just completely shook because I really never saw this coming. Taylor Swift is literally the godmother to Blake Lively's children. But Taylor's team says for the time being, she's taking a step back from the friendship because she doesn't want to get tangled in this more than she already has.
When you have a massive Hollywood fallout between two powerful women, you can bet that their men are going to get pulled right into the drama. That's exactly what happened with Taylor and Blake. Their broken friendship kicked off a Cold War between Travis Kelce and Ryan Reynolds as well. For a long time, everything looked perfect. Ryan and her wife were the fun-loving Hollywood pair. Meanwhile, Taylor and her future husband were dubbed as the new power couple of Hollywood. It was a perfect double date scenario. But once that legal battle started getting messy, and Taylor's private texts got pulled into court documents for the world to see, Travis had to put his foot down.
Not necessarily I can't go out like this. It was more so how did we let this happen?
You have to remember that Travis is focused on protecting his future wife's peace and making sure their wedding day is absolutely perfect. The lawsuit drama, especially the scary thought of Taylor being forced to testify in court right before their summer wedding, has possibly given him serious stress. But still, when Taylor's song Canceled came out, which was basically all about ditching toxic friends, Travis backed her up. They even went on his sports podcast, where Taylor shared the motivation behind this song.
I also know the pressure I'm putting on this record by saying that, but I don't care because I love it that much. And I'm so proud of it. And it just comes from like the most infectiously joyful, wild, dramatic place I was in my life.
To show the world exactly where he stood, Travis unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram.
For Travis Kelce then go and unfollow Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan was still following Travis. I don't think it was an accident. I think that this drama has probably boiled up so much so that Taylor is like, I want nothing to do with this. Travis, you can be done following them. Let's just kind of continue to distance ourselves.
Well, this guy lives by a simple rule of good energy only, and he was behind Taylor's decision to not invite Ryan and his wife from the wedding.
Are they invited to the bachelor party?
Bachelor party, man. How do you even know there's a bachelor party coming?
Since that very public unfollowing, it's been complete silence. No friendly outings, no birthday wishes, and no red heart emojis on social media posts. This whole thing perfectly showed that the feud wasn't just between the two famous friends. It was a whole family blackout. Travis stepped up as Taylor's ultimate supporter, proving he's all about protecting her from the mess Blake has created.
You got to know your gal or your significant other. You got to know them.
You can't.
And you can't let how somebody else does it make you feel like you need to do it that way.
When a famous Hollywood actress gets kicked out from the wedding of the decade, you might expect a total meltdown. But for Blake Lively, the strategy was to pretend that she simply does not care. I think it's quite weird how she handled it. Despite the rejection being totally obvious to everyone else, she was totally optimistic. And honestly, a little delusional about her place in this story. Insiders claimed that she was acting as if her wedding invitation was already in the mailbox. And we all know it's because she was a constant presence in the stadium suites when the Taylor-Travis romance first started. She genuinely believed she was an important part of their love story. However, reality painted a much different picture. When reporters asked her about Taylor's canceled show, she seemed to ignore the whole situation without giving any real sympathy.
Quick question about Taylor. Have you spoken with her? How concerned are you with the Austria concert?
Oh my gosh, I mean, how terrifying, but thank goodness that they are completely on top of that, yeah.
After the news broke that she had officially sliced her from the list, Blake posted an ultra-cheerful photo dump. The pictures showed her on a sunny getaway with her husband and other friends. Her legal team also tried to clean up the huge mess in the press. During a media interview, her lawyer said that Blake did everything she could to protect her friends from being brought into the drama. But let's be real. To Taylor Swift, those words are absolutely empty. The unsealed court texts are already out there for everyone to read. The damage to her public image has already happened, and the protection Blake Lively claimed to offer has totally failed. That's why many folks, including me, think Taylor had to make this wedding invite decision. Her friend could not protect her when it mattered most, and that lack of judgment was the unforgivable line.
There's been a lot of controversies around Taylor as well. And did we ever see Blake standing up for her in public during those times? No.
With Blake Lively completely and permanently removed from Taylor's friend circle, the spot was left to fill up. And trust me, Taylor Swift did not waste a single second filling that gap with someone much safer. much more loyal, and a lot less messy. She is forming her new friendship with Brittany Mahomes, the wife of Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. This makes total sense because Brittany and Patrick are deeply trusted by both Travis and Taylor Swift. Patrick is already locked in to stand right beside Travis at the wedding altar. It's a double date situation built on rock-solid trust, not for fame and limelight. In fact, many fans now believe that the defensive lyrics in the song "Cancelled," the part about liking friends cloaked in Gucci and in scandal, might actually be Taylor defending Brittany Mahomes, not Blake Lively. Brittany is famous for her luxury Gucci outfits, and she faced intense public backlash a while back for some of her social media activity. But Taylor refused to ditch her during that hard time. While Blake proved to be a massive legal liability, who leaked private texts to federal courts, Brittany has proven to be a silent, protective, and loyal presence in Taylor's new life in Kansas City. Now, I also see Taylor closing her grip on her oldest, most proven friends. Selena Gomez, Gigi Hadid, and Emma Stone are now totally locked in as the core bridal support group. Taylor even made a point to ensure Zoe Kravitz was officially invited, which was a smart move to shut down false tabloid rumors that they had fallen out. The message Taylor is sending is crystal clear, and I think it's the most important takeaway of the entire fallout. If you are loyal and protective of her friendship, you are invited to the party. But if you use the friendship for your own gain, or if you let it spill out into a courtroom and embarrass her, you are out forever. That empty space Blake Lively left at the table will now be filled by someone who truly values Taylor's peace.
I don't know why it's taken Taylor Swift fans to get to this so long, that Taylor clearly is not friends with Blake anymore, and that should say everything. To anybody who's still defending Blake Lively out there, how can you justify all these snubs? Explain it to me. Because Taylor should be defending Blake, and that's what Blake thinks too, but Taylor's not.
As the June 2026 wedding quickly approaches, the media will keep buzzing with the question of will she or won't she regarding Blake Lively's attendance. But the answer has already been out there. Taylor Swift has finally reached a point in her life where she no longer has to tolerate discomfort for the sake of keeping up appearances. She is entering her marriage to Travis Kelce with a clear view of who truly supports her and who treats her as a pawn in their own personal battles.
Why Taylor Swift is hesitant to invite Blake Lively to Travis Kelce wedding amid Justin Baldoni drama. How about because it'll create a shitstorm? How about that?
The absence of Blake and Ryan at the Rhode Island wedding will be very loud, but to Taylor Swift, that empty space at the table won't be a loss. It will mean she successfully protected her peace, guarded her new husband, and ensured her wedding day was exactly what she wanted. A celebration of love, entirely free of the drama she left behind. What do y'all think about Taylor Swift dropping Blake Lively from the wedding guest list? Leave your thoughts in the comments.